Budget Committee for June 3rd, 2021. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Joe Schramm, call the roll.
Okay, Thor Ackery.
Here.
Sherry Ackery.
Here.
Dan Darren. Absent. John Edwards.
Present.
Tom Healy.
Here.
Cynthia Isherwood.
Here.
Mike Janik.
Present.
Judy Jones. Absent.
Judy's here.
Oh, is
She's
she?
muted.
Judy, you here? You're
He is here.
You're muted.
Here.
All right.
We all set?
Dave Perry.
Present.
Joe Souza.
Present.
And Joseph Schramm. I'm present.
Okay, should have received the minutes for 5/27/21. I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
And we have unanimous consent. Further discussion? Motion carries. All right, at this point, I will entertain a motion to take items 6, 7, and 8 out of order. Hello?
Joe, you want to move 5 to what
The
position?
end of the
7?
agenda. We'll be taking 6, 7, and 8 ahead of 5.
I don't think there's a need to do that.
All right, well, I'll call. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
I'll put a motion in, Joe, if you want to move it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. I'm assuming we should call the roll. Joe Schramm?
Yes, sir. Thor Ackery to moving the agenda item number 5 to between 7 and 8.
Between 8 and 9.
I'm sorry, 8 and 9.
We're taking 6, 7, and 8 out of order.
Yes.
Sherry Ackery,
Yes.
John Edwards,
Yes. I'm just curious as to why we're moving it, if there was a specific reason.
Oh, I can answer that real quick, and that is our budget is due today. We need to finish
Okay.
it and get it to the clerk.
Then yes.
Tom Healy,
Yes.
Cynthia Isherwood,
Yes.
Mike Janik,
No.
no. Judy Jones,
Yes.
Dave Perry,
No.
Joe Souza,
Yes.
and Joe Schramm. Yes, we have 2 noes, Joe.
Okay. So the motion carries. All right. Discussion, possible vote to review or change any and all budget matters for this budget season. We had talked in the last meeting about adding in some revenue. We've done a little more research. We sent out a memo to show exactly how much the town is going to be receiving, not only this year, as far as we'll end up in surplus, but next year. So, Tom, why don't you, can you put up the comparative budget so we can look at those while we're discussing this?
What
Just
comparisons?
The bottom, the end of what you had sent out to us.
So the $1 million one?
Yeah, with adding in the revenue line.
Yeah, okay, let me see if I can find that.
Dan Damon's trying to get in. He can't get in for some reason.
Well, Chris is,
Chris, can you take care of that?
Chris, you think you can try to figure this out?
Or does somebody have a phone number to give me? Because he's not in the attendee room.
All right, while he works on that, Tom, if you can get that,
Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, I got it.
Did somebody email me his phone number?
can everybody see this?
Can you zoom in?
Good question. Let's see. I can frame it. Yes, I can. Is that better?
Yeah, a little better. Okay.
If you can please explain what you've done, Tom, where you put the money.
All I did is I took on the left side what we had so far, and on the right side I just took essentially the our revenue line and added $1 million to it. So that would be line number 5. On the left side is 13 million something, and the right side is the 14 million, same thing. And it all rippled through on our detailed levy calculations. And so what ended up happening was the levy increase figure went from 3.6% to 1.1%. The margin, our limit on 4% went from 3.97% to 1.32%. And the taxes themselves, the average tax went from $14.40 for the tax rate. I'm sorry. The tax rate went from $14.40 to $14.03 per thousand evaluated.
Dan Darren's on the call.
Thank you, Dan. So I wanted to point out that I apologize for only getting the email out today, but you should have all received an email explaining where we predict that the revenue would come for. And it appears that the town is going to end up with a large surplus this year. So it just appears that there's going to be more money than was originally estimated at the end of this fiscal year. And in next year, we're looking at a lot of federal money. We're looking at reimbursement for the casino, and the casino is open. So we're looking at the full amount for that. So I see no reason why we can't add revenue in. Now, keep in mind, we had talked about casino revenue, but what we're finding now is we don't even need to look at casino revenue because we're going to end up with such a large surplus. And we're only taking, was it 1.4, Tom? At this point, we had estimated?
No, right here was just one million.
All right. I think to get to zero, we needed what, 1.6 to get to a 0% increase, a 0% increase in the budget, or levy rather. So I believe that we can bring this down, the tax rate down, and not run into problems with the general fund, restricted general fund, based on the numbers we're putting together. Yes, John.
So a couple questions. The link that you sent out doesn't exist. And I'm uncomfortable with us looking at utilizing money from a budget. It looks like it's about Biden's proposed budget. I mean, the federal government hasn't even passed this yet. It's still going to go through the House and the Senate where money actually comes from. And, it makes me uncomfortable that we're going to hope and pray that something gets through in
The
order
money
for
we
us to do
received would
this.
actually be when Trump was.
Sorry, can everybody hear? I've lost sound.
We can hear you, Dan. Actually, a lot of the surplus that's coming in was some of the first stimulus money that's in
I'm
this
gonna try
year.
something else.
Can we ask, if this is revenue that should have been declared or we can declare, Chris or the town treasurer or whoever might have this information, can you share some insight into whether or not this is appropriate?
Well, okay, Chris, I'm sorry, I can't see everybody on the screen. I can only see a few. So if you want to speak, please just announce your name.
So it's Chris, and I'm going to tell you that I don't know where you're getting the surplus from, but any of the federal money is not allowed to be used to offset taxes. So
We're not talking about offsetting taxes.
Yes, we are. No.
No.
I'm not going to argue with
That's
that.
precisely what you're talking about.
That's exactly.
No, we're not talking about offsetting
So
taxes.
where is this surplus coming from that you're claiming that we have?
Well, there are a number of accounts right now that are running surpluses. We looked at current, where we're at now and with the audit.
Who is we?
Me.
You said we.
Yeah, well, I had help. It's me and a few people that worked with me.
Point of order, Dan Darren. Are we
I'm
grasping it?
speaking for me, my opinion. I'm bringing this forward.
All right, Joe.
You put no
Point
doubt-
of
I
order.
base my opinions on what I receive. Okay, and then I bring that information forward. So this
This
opinion
is-
is
But
mine.
from whom? I mean, you can't, you just, if you're not going to cite a legitimate source, I feel uncomfortable.
What legitimate
putting the-
source? The treasurer's numbers. Look, if you read what I said.
Joe,
I-
stop. Joe,
Numbers.
stop. Joe, stop. This is the same bourgeois.
Dan,
we
do
do
not
about-
get into this. You
No,
weren't
you
recognized to
don't.
speak.
The
Mute.
chair will respect the other members, please. Do not start with the ad hominem stuff, okay? Settle
Look,
down.
Look, we use numbers that
This
were
is baloney.
provided
We're not
by the
doing any
town.
blue
Who-
sky
all right.
stuff.
Can
Dan,
I
be
ask
quiet,
a
please.
question? So,
Go ahead, John, you had the floor.
Mr. Chair, in your email, right, in a number of locations, you mentioned a source. Who is this source? And if you're unwilling to
treasurer.
disclose, then why wouldn't you put the treasurer in here? Because I mean, I think the treasurer would be the one who would bring this forward to us. 'Cause
audit.
she's been involved in this.
We use the treasurer's numbers, we use the audit.
Okay, who is we? Because you
Me
just
and
said
the
it was you, but you've used the
Me
word
and my
we
team.
also. Who is your team?
It's not important who my team is. What's
It
important
absolutely,
is what's
it absolutely is important who your team
No,
is.
it
because
isn't.
You are an elected
Because
official.
I'm expressing this
as
opinion.
am I. As am I. You're an elected official. I'm an elected official.
That's right.
People, all of us here are elected officials.
Well, you're
right?
looking
This-
at my
this
team.
isn't-
They're all here, right here. The people that that voted to move the agenda forward. We're the team.
All right. So go around the room then.
don't
Everybody
need to.
who voted.
What we need to do is move on to the question.
No,
Okay.
what we need to do. What we need
I
to do.
presented, you asked for where I was getting my numbers. I told you. They came from the audit and the treasurer.
But why wouldn't you put that in the email you sent? If you're going to cite sources, I expect you to cite sources and be detailed about it. It's the same thing that we went through with the school committee. It's the same reason why I don't trust the numbers in their budget. And it's the same reason why I don't trust what you're putting out here. I can't
You
verify
don't have
what
to
you're
vote
doing.
for it, John, if you don't
Therefore,
trust it.
stop.
The
I
treasurer
can't
is
verify
trying to
what
get
you're
on.
doing.
Denise, do not
Therefore, I
interrupt my
can't make-
meeting, please.
Therefore, I cannot make an educated decision because you're just putting out anecdotal evidence here. None of this
It's not
makes sense.
anecdotal.
It is. You send
No,
a
it's
website
not.
that
We're
doesn't
receiving the
exist.
stimulus money. We are
Point
going to
of
be.
order. The chair is acting as a mark.
We are going to
not a
receive the
chair.
casino money. That's not fictitious money. That's all money that's coming into the town. We're going to be looking at a $6 million surplus next year.
Then can somebody call the treasurer and have her get on here and tell us this? Because I want to hear it. If the treasurer is the source, it should come from the treasurer. Because right now the administrator has no clue what
At
you're
this
talking
point,
about.
we are going to move forward with a vote as soon
Treasurer
as
is
we're
in the
done.
audience. She wants to come on. The
She's here in the
treasurer-
As I said,
Yeah.
do not speak in my meeting, okay?
I want you to
Point of
know
order.
the
The
treasurer
rule.
is
I am the
Get out.
chair. I will acknowledge you to speak if we need to hear from you. We are conducting this meeting. We have to get this budget in. We are going to take a vote. And if you don't like what we're proposing, just vote against it.
I
I
move we
move
let
to,
this thing
Mr.
speak.
Chair, I move the vote.
What, there's not a motion on the floor.
I'll make a motion
I
to,
move to let Denise speak.
you don't have to vote to let anyone speak.
Well,
Look.
I'm moving that. Is there a
This is a
second?
sideshow. This is an abject sideshow. We
So the
spent months
motion
and
would
months and
be
months
add
working on this.
1.5
This is a
million.
sideshow.
Denise
This is a
Trevette
revenue.
is trying to enter the meeting, guys. Denise
Right.
Trevette is in the attendees.
She's here.
Okay, if we need to hear from her, we will hear from her.
There's a
We already
motion on
have
the
her
floor.
revenue reports.
There's a motion on the floor. Is
As
there a
I
second?
said, we went through this,
Who's we?
the
We already
committee.
heard all
What is
We
this.
heard
this?
from the
Is
treasurer.
this the
We
is this
heard
the Big
from the
Lebowski?
administrator.
What are we doing here?
We heard from everybody.
Point
Joe.
of
And
order.
we have to finish the budget now. The time for
Point-
debate is
Point
over.
of order,
It's
Mr.
time to
Chairman.
vote.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
What's the motion?
I move we let Denise Medeiros speak, please.
No, that's not a motion. We
It's
can't.
not
I
on
may-
the agenda.
Well, I made a motion.
Well, she's not on the agenda.
You're
And
not
we
gonna
didn't
get a
second.
schedule her to speak.
My God, what a sideshow.
Denise
Joe,
DiMaggio-
Joe, hold on. Joe, do you have
So
the
the
motion?
motion would be
Make the
add
motion.
1.5 million to the gaming revenue line.
There's now 1.5 million in the game.
1.5? Where did that come from?
Yeah, it's
There
not
will
even in
be,
the
there
game.
will be approximately
You
5.5
cannot
million soon
project
enough.
a number. It
People,
has
Yes,
to
we,
be
people.
first off, do not interrupt my meeting again.
He needs a
Okay?
second. Does anyone
Do
want a
not
second?
interrupt my meeting. I don't go to your meetings and interrupt. Do not come to mine and interrupt.
Point of order, the chair is acting like a dictator, not
Well-
a chair.
I'm gonna have to say that I'm looking for somebody to make the motion. Is anybody?
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion.
Somebody had
to
a
move-
hand up.
I'll make a motion to move item 5 to our immediate discussion point right now and rediscuss item 5 and discuss item 5 in its original order.
Sherry, you had
Second.
something to say?
We have a motion and a second.
Sherry had her hand up long before you made your motion. Sherry,
I
do you have something to say?
do that.
We have a
Point
motion
of
and a
order. What
second,
kind of
Joe.
Robert's rules is this?
Well, in actuality, we never even voted to follow Robert's rules, so you should
What are we
probably
following?
read
Joe's,
Yeah.
are we
Bottom
following
line
Joe's
is-
rules?
Y'all
All
act
right.
like adults.
So-
them.
What are these, Sousa's
So
rules?
Joe-
Now, stop. Look, we're going to conduct the meeting without interruption.
This-
One person speaks at a time. If you want to follow Robert's rules, then that's what it says. The chair recognizes the speaker. Sherry, you have the floor.
You have a motion on the floor.
Okay, so, yeah, nobody seconded Dan.
Yes, they did.
We have
No,
a
not
motion
Dan.
and a second. We are now having discussion. Sherry, you have the floor. Everybody else, quiet.
Okay,
So
So
that's the way
I
everybody's
did
allowed to
email
speak.
Denise Surratt today to ask her what we currently had in the casino fund, because I also feel uncomfortable with using funds that we don't actually have our hands on. I do realize that we are most likely going to have, extra money by the end of June put in the casino fund. But as of right now, hold on, I'm pulling the number up. Denise had sent me back an email that said that as of right now, at the end of May, we have 961,198 in the gaming revenue account.
Hello?
Yeah.
And we will soon have
I know.
an
I'm on
additional
it. Bye.
1.5 million.
That's
I
who?
know, I as well feel uncomfortable with the fact of using funds that we don't actually have in hand. And I believe the charter does say something to the effect of not using assumed revenue. And that's my only comments.
We're not assuming. The casino is open. We will receive the $3 million. We also will be running surpluses in accounts. That's already been documented.
That happens every year, Joe.
That's right. And there's no reason why we can't use that surplus to cut the tax rate.
You don't have it in the general fund right now to put it there.
Mr. Cotta,
Estimated revenue.
Mr.
We have revenue estimates. We're talking about next year's budget.
You're just
All revenues are estimated.
making stuff up, Joe.
No, I'm not making anything up. And stop interrupting.
You're the one who asked.
Can we move a vote?
Are you done, Sherry?
Joe?
No, I was just gonna ask Chris, since we last met before we left, have you received any new information other than what you had already given us about, like to find specific extra monies that the town's going to receive?
So we are still negotiating with the state. We do not have a formal agreement yet. We are working towards that, but there is no guarantee of it.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Joe, if I may, real quick, I'm just having a hard time hearing everyone, especially with people throwing motions out. So if
I
you
know.
could just maybe slow it down a little. I know it's getting heated and I can respect that, but for the purpose of taking notes, it becomes a little bit difficult.
Well, we need to follow, have a little decor, and we can't turn this into the last meeting.
Oh, it was a pot calling the kettle black.
I think Mr. Edwards and Joe.
Go ahead, John.
I'm just going to say this. I've said it in multiple meetings now. We talked with the school committee. I said it then. I believe in trust but verify, and I think it is wholly unacceptable and incredibly disrespectful to this committee to just throw out something in an email like 7 hours before we have this meeting with zero backup. I mean, that thing that Mr. Haley put up on the screen, I don't even have a copy of that. And then you've mentioned here multiple times about sources. It's referenced in the email, right? You asked at the last meeting, you mentioned, Mr. Chair, that you had an alternative opinion. I filed an APRA request to receive that opinion. I have yet to get that. And I think it is wholly, wholly unprofessional for you to push this forward on the 11th hour after this committee has spent hours upon hours in the preceding months working to get to this budget position where we just need a final vote to get it over the goal line so we can go forward and deal with it. I mean, this is to me, this is the biggest sideshow I think I've ever seen in the town of Tiverton, and that's saying something because we've had a lot of them.
Well, when a town's going to have $6 million or so in surplus, there's no reason to throw a big tax increase at everybody.
There's no surplus.
Prove it.
Prove it.
Prove it.
Prove
You
it.
can't-
It's
you
estimated
can't
revenue.
prove it.
It will come in. All right. It's been there. It's
Mr.
in black and white. And we will
Your
be getting
email-
the money that we lost last year, and we will be getting next year's casino money.
Let me
restricted by ordinance.
Let me spell out what I mean by prove it. What I mean by prove it is put something in writing from some other source other than Joe Souza decided to type up an email and put facts and figures down on a piece of paper that I can't verify. If I can't verify it, I can't.
It's in the treasury report.
Then highlight the section. If you're going to make radical changes, it is incumbent upon you to back them up. It is not incumbent upon me to go and source through pages and pages of documents to figure out where the hell you're coming from.
Well, I would have hoped
that
that
is the
you
most
would have worked to get it
unprofessional
down
piece.
like I did. Dave?
I would like to make a motion to not change any number in the budget.
Point of order, there's already a motion on the floor, is there not?
Oh, my God.
There was Mr. Janik made a motion to take number 5 out of order right here, and I seconded it.
All right, let's vote on that now. Call a roll, Joe. They want to bring number 5 back up. I'd say no. So
Okay.
let's waste time. We'll call the roll again.
Okay, Thor Ackery, this is a motion to bring item number 5 back.
No.
Sherry Ackery,
No.
Dan Darren,
I'm having technical difficulties. Get me last, please.
John Edwards,
Yes.
Tom Healy,
No.
Cynthia Isherwood,
No.
Mike Janik,
Yes.
Judy Jones,
No.
Dave Perry,
Yes.
Joe Souza.
No.
Okay,
Dan Darren is back, and that'll be a yes.
so we have 4 yeses, Joe.
All right. So
I have a motion on the floor. I need a second.
I'm sorry, Dave, what's
Second.
the motion?
Motion to not change any numbers on the budget.
Second.
Present the budget as is.
All right, and John, you second that?
As did Miss Ackery.
Thanks, appreciate it. Do you want me to call the roll, Joe?
Yeah, please call the roll because I guess we're not going to have unanimous consent.
Thor Ackery, and this is
Yes.
to accept the budget as is.
Yes.
Sherry Ackery,
Yes.
Dan Darren,
Yes.
John Edwards,
Yes.
Tom Healy,
Yes.
Cynthia Isherwood,
Yes.
We're accepting the budget as is. You understand what the question is?
Joe, be quiet.
Joe, there's a motion.
No, wait a minute. You
There's a roll
understand
call in process.
Point of
Yeah,
order.
can I just finish, guys? Let me just finish real quick.
anything?
Let me just finish real quick. I'm sorry, that was Mike Janik,
Yes.
Judy Jones,
No.
Dave Perry,
Yes.
Joe Souza,
No.
and myself. I'll vote yes.
Thank you.
You're done.
So there are 2 no's, the rest are yeses.
Motion to adjourn.
No,
We have
no,
we have to
not
vote to
yet.
complete and send it to the town clerk.
We're gonna go back to number 5.
All right, so we're back. All right,
Let's go to 5.
number 7.
Hold on, look at Joe. We need to. There was actually on number 6. There was, and I sent out an update on SOS. Joan Chavit found a
It's 7, the resolution.
ever in the resolutions. I sent that out, updated it. Tom Healy did a great job. He went through it for me. We just need to revote. It was specifically on item number 3 that there was an error.
I'll make a motion to accept the resolutions as amended.
Second.
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 I don't know if you caught that, Joe. You had multiple seconds.
No,
Yeah.
we had a motion, we had a second. Do we have unanimous consent? Motion carries. Discussion, vote to send a completed budget to the town clerk.
Make a motion to send the completed budget to the town clerk.
Second.
Second.
Discussion, please.
Go ahead.
Tom, did you get my note earlier today about this?
Yes, yeah, Thor found some, residual, old years, on the tax levy summary. But let me just,
Yeah, on page
if
19.
you wouldn't mind, let me just walk through the changes that will have happened. Chris, also, redistributed some of the money he had in the revenues, into the categories. So I have them highlighted. If you just let me go through them real quickly, that they'll be what have changed since, the things I sent out to you. Is that okay?
Oh, me. The bottom line doesn't change. It just moved $120,000 of miscellaneous revenue to the 3 categories where it needed to be belong.
Right. So let me just show you where things are. A new category up here too. Hold on. So can you see the spreadsheet? Can you see the yellow highlights on the spreadsheet, everyone?
Yes.
Yeah, so Chris had added this new category here on the left side, transfer from open space fund. And originally we had placed it at the bottom of this total of $120,000 was placed at the bottom here in a category that didn't make sense, or a blank category. So they got redistributed among these 3 numbers here. So there they are.
Okay.
A new category that had 50, this miscellaneous revenue 220, and the 499 number, also 50, to make a total of $120,000. So the bottom line hasn't changed on the revenues. So there's that. And any questions there? We have the tax levy summary situation that Thor pointed out. I had kept the old template, and we had FY21 showing, and Thor found out. I corrected those to FY22. That's all I had for changes.
All right,
Seems reasonable.
okay, we had a motion. We had a second. Do we have unanimous consent? Motion carries. We're back to line item 5, discussion, possible vote to reorganize the position of chair.
Make a motion to reorganize the position of chair. I need a second.
I'll second with the question as to what your reorganization.
The reorganization is to remove the chair from office and appoint a new one. This has been nothing but a fiasco the last 2 weeks.
You have a second.
We look like a bunch of clowns, and this is not the way to run a budget committee.
Well, let me tell you something since you're talking about me. I was trying to run a meeting. We posted the meeting. We were having a discussion that is allowed under the First Amendment of the United States. And the town solicitor and the town administrator disrupted our meeting. And that's the bottom line. And if I got upset, too bad, just like tonight. But you know what? I did not ask them to come into the meeting. They weren't invited, and they interrupted our meeting. We have every right to have a discussion. Nobody can come in our meeting and tell us that we can't have a discussion.
You're
If
right.
I got mad, too bad.
You were having a.
Well,
Do we
you
have
know what?
unanimous consent?
I
Do we
move to
have
vote.
unanimous consent to take me out of office?
I
We
move
have
to
not
vote.
had a vote, and no, you don't have unanimous
We
consent.
need a vote.
Well, then call the roll, please, Joe.
No problem. This would be to remove Joe as chair. Thor Ackery,
You're muted, babe.
Thor, are you there?
Yeah, is there a possibility to have some additional discussion so I can get some clarification?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Is that a yes
Yeah.
before we vote? So the process going forward, in any case, this is our last meeting of the year or not?
Yes, it is.
You have a public hearing.
So the only other meeting this year would be a public hearing and,
Not necessarily.
oh, not because of COVID
Because if
issue?
there is a petition to budget and it gets remanded back, the budget committee could be back in action again based on the actions of what is done at the town financial referendum.
Okay, got
Yeah.
it. I understand. And beyond that, it's just next year we come together and reelect officers as needed.
And there's still the public hearing that has to take place.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I'm done. Thanks for the discussion.
Any other discussion? Call the roll, please, Joe.
Okay, this would be to remove Joe as chair. Thor Ackery,
Yes.
Sherry Ackery,
No.
Dan Darren,
I'm having trouble again. I'm on safe driver mode. I'll wait to the end, please.
John Edwards,
Yes.
Tom Healy,
No.
Cynthia Isherwood,
No.
Mike Janik,
Yes.
Judy Jones,
No.
Dave Perry,
Yes.
Joe Souza,
I'm a no.
Joseph Schramm, I am a no, and Dan Darren.
Dan Darren's a yes.
So we have 6 no's, 4 yeses. I'm sorry, 5 yeses?
And 5 yeses.
Yep.
So the motion fails. Is there any other discussion before we leave?
Wait. I think, can I ask for a recount? I think there's some confusion here.
Yep, I can tell you who voted. Thor Ackery voted yes. Sherry Ackery voted no. Dan Darren voted yes. John Edwards voted yes. Tom Healy voted no. Cynthia Isherwood voted no. Mike Janik voted yes. Judy Jones voted no. Dave Perry voted yes. Joe Souza voted no. And I voted no.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion adjourned, second.
Hey, can somebody gonna move it to the clerk?
Yes, we have to move it to, I was just going to say that. Thanks, Chris.
Didn't we do that already?
No.
I
Discussion.
Before number 5.
vote.
But presumably you'll trust me to not screw anything up and get these documents over to the clerk by midnight.
Well, just to be safe, I'll make a motion that we can send the completed budget to the town clerk.
Second.
Second.
Am I back?
I was gonna ask, Mr. Chair, may I say something?
Yes, please.
The one thing before we send this over the clerk that I'd like to say is that my hope is that if we do end up seeing, a lot of revenue, the reason why I decided to do what I did tonight, is because I don't actually see that. And I don't, I think I already said that. I don't see that. I can't actually see those extra funds. If we do end up getting extra money, I hope that the town council will work very hard to spend that money wisely and do what's best for the town, and really take a look at the tax levy and how it's impacting all of the homeowners and people who have lost jobs and are really struggling right now. And that's all. And thanks for a good season. Thanks for everybody's hard work.
Chris.
Sherry, I just want to clarify one thing, because I know there's a misconception out there about all this federal money that's coming in. The schools have some money's coming in. It is earmarked. It cannot be used to supplant their budget, nor can any of the money that's coming to the town be used to supplant our budgets and or offset tax rates. So there are prohibitions for using some of this money. You can't use it for certain things.
Right.
I will say that the town council will be, once we get the final guidance on this and the monies start to roll in, that they will set up a committee to review these funds, the guidance that goes with them, and the pertinent aspects on how to expend them throughout the town, very similar to how they've done and managed, discussing these budget issues throughout the entire budget season.
Yeah.
I appreciate, and I again appreciate everything the budget committee has done throughout the season. It's been a very long, tiring, and tough year, but we just can't do things as a knee-jerk reaction simply because people think they have better control over. I just apologize for the way that this has come over the last 2 weeks, but everybody's worked really hard to get to where we need to be.
Yeah, I think, like I said, my opinion is just that you don't make the decision to change the budget if that money's not actually in hand, and we don't have it in hand.
That's correct.
According to the treasurer. So.
We don't have any of that money in hand. It's all expected revenue. We have none of that money in hand.
Sorry, I was not starting to try to.
All right, we done. We're ready to adjourn. We had a motion. We had a second. We have unanimous consent. Objections. We are adjourned.
Hey, you need a vote.
You're speaking over people, Joe.
We have unanimous consent. Nobody objected.
Dan just tried to speak. You wouldn't let him.
Where's Dan?
Dan,
you have something to say?
Well, I just like to apologize for flying off the handle, but it's been difficult under the circumstances not to do so. I too wanted to thank everyone for all their good works, and I will try to be more personable, more diplomatic, and less vociferous. So my apologies for that, and all the best for the coming year until we meet again. Thank you again for everything, everyone.
Are we done?
You were done a long time ago.
We have unanimous consent to adjourn. Are there any objections? We are